So guys, before I start this video, I really want to say these videos take me a little bit of time to do, upload, cut, blah blah blah, so please consider to subscribe. If you're into motorcycles and you like listening to people waffle shit, then please subscribe to this channel, or at least consider to give it a thumbs up. It really means a lot. Here, and I've just finished work, decompressing on my little beast, and in this video I'm going to give you my 2 cents about what I think about this bike. It's kind of like a mini review, and yeah, this video is going to be beneficial to you if you're thinking of buying one of these, if you're kind of sitting on the fence, and like any of these videos, if you kind of watch my review videos, I always say that you should go out, if you can, and test ride one. That will make up your mind, because a lot of the time reviews are hugely subjective, and it's dependent on the actual rider. So again, it's dependent on you, your characteristics, your style, and so on. And I'm not getting any money out of doing this review. And there's a video that I've actually done on my channel where I talk about journalism and journalists and the way they review bikes, because they're all getting a little bit of wonga, which I think kind of swerves their opinion on bikes. And the first thing I want to talk about with regards to this bike is the price. This is a 2017 bike, so it's what, just turned 4 years old. I mean, I've got underpants older than 4 years old. Maybe I shouldn't say that. But my point being is, this bike for 2017, I think we're kind of at that point now where we're starting to see that the stuff that should be introduced on all of the bikes, such as heated grips, cruise control, lean angle ABS, all of that sort of good stuff. This has absolutely everything. It's fully loaded. And I'm going to go from front to back to give you my 2 cents. First thing I'll talk about is the height of this. I'm 6'2", 6'3" on a good day, and I can just about flat foot this bike. So it's a really tall bike, and for me, I really like that. I like being high. I like the sports bikes where you're kind of low to the ground. With this, you're really high up, and I think that's a good thing for me. It's really flickable. I like the riding position, but if you're sort of sub 6 foot, again, go out and ride one. But before you go and put your money down and buy one of these things, I would sit on one, or if not, think about getting it lowered a little bit. So the first thing to talk about is those brakes. I think these are the best in the business. These are the Brembo M50s. Once upon a time, these were used in MotoGP. I think they still are now. Not too sure about that. But basically, these are as good as you would expect them. Suspension. This is one thing that really confuses me with other reviews when people talk about the suspension. They never talk about adjusting the compression and the rebound, and adjusting the preload on suspension. And the reason I mention that to you is because you can have 2 different bikes with this. You can have 3 different bikes by just adjusting the compression and the rebound. And I haven't bought a sports bike or a motorbike in the last, 15 years that has not had adjustable suspension. And there's a reason for that. So when people talk about suspension, and they're kind of, suspension could be a little bit better, it's a bit tough, blah, blah, blah. Look, if you can adjust the suspension, you can get the suspension to do exactly what you want it to do. And for me, the suspension on this is absolutely, it's just perfection. The suspension is unbelievable. It's better than my S1000RR. That had an electronic adjustable suspension. So the suspension on this is absolutely fantastic. We got the LED boob lights. These are fantastic. I love the look of it. This bike, I don't think, apart from the Panigale, I don't think there's a better looking bike than this, personally. Again, hugely subjective. But this bike, for me, the way it looks is, yeah, it's on point. Moving back from there, looking at the handlebars, you got the Brembo Master cylinder. You got 3 rider modes, or I have on this at the moment. And I'm looking to get the 4th, which is the track pack, so I can turn the anti-wheelie off. But the thing is, with this, when it's in sport, that gives you just like that fun time when you're really, giving it some beans. That front wheel really likes bouncing on a tarmac. It's real good fun in sport. I really, really enjoy that. But with that said, I'm definitely going to be getting the track pack with this to turn the anti-wheelie off and put the missiles on it and all that sort of jazz. The creme of the creme, the actual crown jewel of this bike is that engine. 1300cc twin, and it is the best engine I've ever experienced in all of my years in riding. And look, I've ridden them all. I go out on a Sunday with my mates, the Panigales and the R1s, and we all change bikes, and I can take or leave the R1s and the Panigales and the S1000 RRs, blah blah blah. But this bike, before I was actually going to buy this, I was looking at the S1000 RR, the 4th gen, and I was like, that's my next bike, that's what I'm going to be buying. And I was like, I can take it or leave it. To be honest, I'm quite happy with my S1000 RR. But this, when I rode this, I couldn't get off it. I didn't want to give it back. And that's the sign of a real good bike. So, yeah, that engine is absolute peach. I believe it generates 177 brake horsepower, 104 newton meters of torque, at 2,000, 3,000 RPM. I believe when it's up to 7,000 RPM, you can get about 140 newton meters of torque out of that engine. It's a 1300cc. And what's really important to highlight, I think, about this bike, compared to, say, the S1000 RR, the Panigales, the R1s, the Aprilia Tuono, Yamaha's MT10, the S1000 Singular, the Ducati Street Fighter, all of those, they're kind of like a reincarnation of the sports bikes. So the Aprilia, obviously the RSV4, Ducati Street Fighter, obviously the Panigale, the S1000 Singular is the reincarnation of the RR. List goes on and on. With this has been purposefully designed to be a street bike, and I think that's why it's got a 1300 twin compared to, say, 1000cc. And that's the thing with my Singular that I had. That was gutless, unfortunately. It was pretty good. It was it wasn't a bad bike. That's a fantastic bike, the Singular. But this is just insane. The only other bike I've had that's been purposefully designed for the street, an upright bike, is a Triumph Speed Triple. I've had 2 of those. They're fantastic bikes. But this absolutely wipes the floor with the old Triumph Speed Triple. I know we've got the 1200cc that's just been introduced. How that's going to compare to this, I don't know. We'll have to see. But ultimately, this bike has been designed specifically for the street, and my God, it's just absolutely perfect. And again, all of the creature comforts on this, you've got like tyre pressure sensors, 3 rider modes, you've got keyless start, TFT, cruise control, heated grips, a horn. It's just got everything. It's got absolutely everything on it. The rear shock, the rear suspension, I really like that. I haven't actually played around with it yet, but to be honest, I'm quite happy with the way it is. I've taken the catalytic converter off because, well, I bought it like that actually. It didn't actually have the catalytic converter on it. But when you feel the weight of them, it's like... But again, I'm actually chucking the kitchen sink at this bike. I'm chucking the kitchen sink at it. I've already been spending more money than I care to mention. I've got the Evotech radiator guard, I've got the engine guard. I'm going to take away and clear up all of this at the back. I'm getting it mapped so with a power commander. So you want to maybe stay tuned to this video, because that is another video together. I've done more research than I care to mention on getting this mapped. So that might be really useful for you. So, you know, little plug there. Consider to give, you know, subscribe to this channel if you like the content, and even give it a thumbs up. Means a lot if you do, because these videos do take a little bit of time. That said, the way this bike handles is, how can I put it, is perfect for the road. This bike is just perfect for the road, and I don't really see any need for a sports bike. I don't see a need for a sports bike. Or if you're going to have a sports bike, you probably need one next to this. And the truth is, if I did, I mean, because when I had my S1000 RR, I was like, I was going to buy this as well as my RR, but the truth is, I wouldn't even ride the RR unless I was on a track. So what I've decided to do in the future, I've got a couple of things to do first. I've got to sort out a new bathroom. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I won't bore you with that. But what I'm probably going to do is buy a sports bike. Like an older one. Like I was looking at the Yamaha R1 2012. I really like that bike. And just use that as a track bike. You know, just sort of take off the headlights, all the indicators, all that sort of stuff, and just have it as a track bike, and occasionally go out for a little blip now and again. But this is my ultimate road bike. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing in the future. But this, I go back to my first comment. If you've got the opportunity, go out and ride one. I think that obviously will make up your mind. But I hope this video is helpful. You know, that's the intent, is to give you, you know, a little bit of information. If, you know, you're thinking or you're kind of sitting on the fence, a couple of your friends are talking about this bike, go out and ride one. But guys, look, I really appreciate you watching this video. Again, if you like the content, please consider to give it a little thumbs up. Really, really means a lot. I'm making these videos quite a lot. I've got a lot of content coming up. And subscribe. But apart from that, I look forward to seeing you in the next one.